race for the White House is in the final stretch, and voters will be headed to the polls in just 18 short days. Now, Donald Trump, he'll be here in just a minute with reaction, but first, it's been a very big week in politics. Now, the candidates, they faced off in their third and final debate in Las Vegas. The liberal mainstream media, they lost their minds over Donald Trump's comments about accepting election results, despite, of course, a long history of Democrats doing the exact same thing. And although Fox News cannot independently verify, undercover tapes from Project Veritas appear to expose very sinister schemes by Democrats to incite violence at Trump rallies and to commit massive voter fraud. And tomorrow, the GOP nominee will make a major pledge to American voters in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Joining us now with details, 2016 Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you, Sean.
Can you give us a preview? It almost sounds like a contract with America or promises to America that you're going to be talking about tomorrow. What can you tell us?
Well, we're going to be doing a lot of things. We're going to be lowering taxes. We're going to be strengthening our border. We're going to be getting rid of regulations. The regulations are going to be gone because, I mean, you look at this country, what's happening with regulations, and we need them for security and we need them for certain things like the environment, but our regulations are just taking over our companies. We can't compete anymore. We're going to be terminating, repealing, and replacing Obamacare. We're going to be saving our Second Amendment. There are a lot of things, Sean. It's going to be, I think it's going to be very special.
Differences. The Supreme Court vetting refugees, saying radical Islam, cutting taxes, raising taxes, keeping Obamacare, getting rid of Obamacare, building a wall, not building a wall, energy independence, no independence, education top down to the states. Those are deep, profound differences. Do you think the voters understand the choice that is theirs this election?
Well, I think they do, and I think if they watch the debates, they would really understand a lot. I mean, right now, I think you have two very clear choices. You have a really clear choice between Hillary Clinton and myself. And if you just look at the stances on everything, she's going to raise taxes, I'm going to lower taxes. She's going to increase regulations, I'm going to cut regulations down to a minimum, a good number, but down to a minimum. And there's so many different things. We're going to rebuild the military, we're going to take care of our vets, we're going to save the Second Amendment, we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare, which is a total disaster. She wants to make it even a bigger mess and going to spend trillions and trillions of dollars on it. It's crazy what's going on. And so you have a really clear choice. You have a very, very distinct choice.
You had been very critical in the media throughout this entire process. Now through WikiLeaks, we know the following news organizations: Univision, NBC, ABC, CBS, the New York Times, Politico, the Boston Globe, all of these organizations, CNN, in one way, fashion, or form, have been in the pocket of Hillary Clinton. What's your reaction to that?
Well, it's totally brutal. I mean, you could do something that's, just fabulous. It's perfect. Everything's great. And then they end up giving you bad news and bad stories, bad coverage. It's the single greatest pylon, they say. This isn't me saying it. This is other people and even news organizations. The single greatest pylon. Despite that, you just saw the crowd we had outside. We're in Pennsylvania now. We just left North Carolina. I'm going back to Pennsylvania. I'm going to a different section in Pennsylvania in a little while. We have a massive crowd there. It's been unbelievable what's going on. And I think that it's not pollable, although, as you know, 3 polls came out today saying I'm leading nationwide. And look, it's a question of taxes. It's a question of borders. Do we want to have a country or not? We're going to have strong borders. And we're going to have people come into our country. But, Sean, they're going to come in legally through a process. They're going to come in legally. So, I think a lot was learned in the debates. I think you understand how we did and how well we did in the debates. And I think we really showed a big difference.
I want to ask you, and you did bring this up during the debate, I only want to play you one small clip of the Project Veritas videos. And it's about the flow of money to these operatives that admit and brag that they're fomenting and causing violence, even back in the Chicago incident in March, but also talking about a massive voter fraud plan that they have and they want to orchestrate. I want you to hear how the money flows and then respond to the 2 specific tapes. Listen to this.
I am contracted to him, but I answer to the head of special events for the DNC and the head of the special events and political for the campaign.
The campaign pays DNC pays Democracy Partners pays the Fogle Group goes and executes.
All right, so let me read it. It says the campaign pays the DNC pays It says the campaign pays the DNC. The DNC pays Democracy Partners. Democracy Partners pays the Fogle Group. They are the people bragging about fomenting violence at your events, inciting it, and they're the people that also talk at length about massive voter fraud in this election. And you came under heavy fire after the debate for saying, I'll keep you in suspense about accepting the election outcome. What is your reaction to these tapes?
I've been saying for a long time, it's a rigged system. It's just terrible what's going on. And then the politicians play right along with it. I mean, you have 1.8 million people who are dead who are registered to vote, and some of them absolutely vote. Now, tell me how they do that. There's only one way. But you have 2.5 million people or so that are registered in 2 states. That means they're voting twice. Look, we have a system. I'm a big believer in the system. I love our country. But I think I've done a great service by pointing this out. And a lot of people agree with what I'm saying. That I can tell you. But when you look at those tapes, it's disgusting. Our rally in Chicago, that's where they were. They were there. And nobody could figure out what was going on. Where did these... And they're real thugs, by the way. Real thugs. And they injured policemen. They injured people. And they should be put in jail. I mean, these are bad people. And again, it's a rigged system. And who got blamed for it? Our rally people. Us, me, everybody. We all got blamed for it.
You.
And it had nothing to do with us.
Well, the Democratic operative overseeing this visited the Obama White House 342 times. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think it's a disgrace. And I guess he saw the president 44 times, they say. Who knows? But I think it's disgraceful. Can you imagine the one who was overseeing violence? And this is a criminal act. I don't know if you saw the picture. Cops were leaving. These policemen, these great people were leaving with massive gashes in their head from these people. These are professional thugs. They were being paid $1,500 a day, and they got cell phones out of it. No, this is a very serious problem. And I think come November 8th, I think we're going to win. And maybe we're going to win bigger than people ever even dreamed. When you look at Pennsylvania, look at what's happening here. When you look at North Carolina, where it just left, you look at Ohio, and you see what's happening. You see what's happening with some of the jobs, the companies that are leaving our country and going to Mexico and other places. You see what's happening with Obamacare, which is such a disaster. Obamacare is a catastrophe. The premiums are going up 60, 70, 80%. The care is no good. You can't even get it, the deductible side. I mean, say what you want. Bill Clinton said, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. He said that, and he probably suffered
New Mexico,
that night. But he said Obamacare is a disaster. It is a total disaster.
And welcome back to Hannity, and here is part 2 of my interview with the 2016 Republican nominee, Donald Trump. As I talk to you, I'm going to put up the headlines of WikiLeaks and the things we've discovered, including the latest solicitation, $12 million from a country that Secretary Clinton, as Secretary of State, thought abusing their own citizens. $12 million, also a paid appearance to go to the Clinton Foundation. On the side of you right now is a list of all of these revelations. I know you've been paying attention to it. The media has not. They've largely ignored it. What does this tell you about the Clintons and about the campaign and about their tactics? I mean, they even exposed how they would go after Obama and his father being a Muslim, and that Obama used cocaine, and going after Bernie Sanders and, of course, you. What do you get out of these WikiLeaks revelations?
Well, take a look at what's going on. I mean, look at, as an example, and this wasn't WikiLeaks, but look at what you just said about the voter fraud that was uncovered with the tapes. Look at what you said about the thugs going into arenas and starting problems. Look at what came out today about the New York Times, where they have reporters that are soft or safe or something. And I have those same reporters, and they are brutal. They're not brutal. They're dishonest. They're totally dishonest. It's a totally dishonest group of people. And you just take a look at what's happened. Look at how you get set up. I mean, they say you saw somebody in 1902, and you touch the person. I mean, give me a break. This is stuff that all doesn't exist, Sean. This is dirty, disgusting stuff, and they'll find out. It'll be revealed at some point. This is dirty, disgusting stuff. Yeah. And you know what? It's no way that it should be. We're supposed to be a great democracy. It's no way that it should be. I mean, a certain magazine wrote some horrible things I guess it came out today. Nobody reports it. I'm not going to get involved in it, but nobody reports it. But if somebody calls up a newspaper and says just one thing, they make a big deal out of it.
Well, I mean, they interviewed a woman on CNN for 45 minutes. It turns out she's claiming you were molesting her on a plane, but it was okay for 15 minutes. And then an eyewitness came on with Judge Jeanine Pirro that said that never happened. I was sitting right next to them, and she was on a public plane with a lot of people. You would think she would have cried out for help, considering the length of time. They went with that, but you're right. They'll ignore the National Enquirer, which is what I think you're referring to.
By the way, it never happened. Never happened.
Right.
Okay?
Well, you have an
Never
eyewitness that
happened.
corroborates that for you.
Just so you understand, all that stuff, it was fabricated, made up, never happened. When you see they come like every 2 days, never happened.
How does CNN
never,
know?
ever happened.
How does CNN put the woman on for 45 minutes, and then the guy that was sitting next to you,
disgrace.
They don't even ask him one question?
It's the most rigged system I've ever seen, and I've been talking about it for a long time. And it was rigged against Bernie Sanders, and it's rigged even more against me. Well, it's a disgrace. They poison the voters with this kind of stuff and this kind of junk that never happened. It's not like a question like it may have. It never. None of it ever happened.
Obama, Al Gore, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders have all themselves at different points said it's a rigged system, but I don't have time to get into it now. I was glad to see the other night there's so much money that have come from countries like the $1 million gift from Qatar. Qatar allows marital rape and marital beatings. The up to $25 million of the Clinton Foundation from the Saudis. The $10 million from the Saudis for the Clinton Library. Women can't drive. They're told how to dress. Gays and lesbians are killed. Christians and Jews are persecuted. But she takes the money. You want her to give it back. Has anybody in the media followed up on that?
No, absolutely not. You're not surprised, but she should give that money back. I brought it up to her in the debate. Give the money back. It's $25 million at a minimum. Give the money back. She didn't want to answer that question, if you noticed.
Yeah, I did notice that. But I consider, how can you be the champion of women's rights, gay and lesbian rights, religious freedom, and take money from countries that abuse all those groups?
Sean, you have seen things, and I've seen things, and I've been going through things. Nobody could imagine that this could happen in the United States. Nobody can even imagine it. But I'll tell you what, we're going to win the election, and we're going to clean out the swamp. You know, I'm using the expression, we're going to drain the swamp of Washington, D.C. It is a swamp of absolute corruption. It's absolutely corrupt. And we're going to drain the swamp. We'll see what happens. We're going to drain it, but we're going to win. We have such enthusiasm. And you saw what I just left this rally 2 minutes ago. In fact, I'm sitting in a room that's about 200 degrees. I've never seen it. It's like a steam room.
I know you love that.
And no, it's just wonderful. But I'll tell you what, at least you're on the side of exposing some of this stuff. The press doesn't want to do it. It's incredible what's going on in the country. But come November 8th, you watch. You saw this arena. It was packed with thousands of people outside. Something is going on that's very, very special. Plus, 3 polls came out today, including Rasmussen, and including another poll that caught it the most accurately 4 years ago. And they say I'm leading nationwide.
It's a 1-point lead. IDB, the Investors Business Daily tip poll, has you up by 1. They have been the closest in the last 3 cycles. I do think there are a lot of balls up in the air that haven't been factored into the polls yet, including the last debate, including the Project Veritas videos, including, I don't think the public is absorbing what I'm showing them every night in terms of the WikiLeaks reveals. All right, I know you've got to go. I want to ask you a final question, and give me as detailed an answer as you can. Tomorrow you're going to make a pledge and put it on paper for the American people. You're doing it in Gettysburg.
Right.
Give us a preview. What is this about? Is this like a contract with America?
Sean, I want to do it tomorrow. I don't want to do it right now. I really want to do it tomorrow. I can only say we're going to make America great again. We have so many problems. Our taxes are too high. We're going to reduce them. Our borders are weak. Our regulations are crazy. Drugs are pouring into our country. People are coming into the country that we really shouldn't have come into the country. We have drug lords and criminals and murderers. And I mean, what's going on in this country is incredible. Hillary wants open borders where people can just flow through. We're not going to have a country anymore. We are going to do something very special. And tomorrow, I think, is going to be a special day at a special place.
Did you have fun at the Al Smith dinner? Did you mind getting booed a little bit?
I did. Yeah. No, look, we say what's true. And some people don't like hearing it, but we say what's true.
That's a
She had
pretty liberal crowd,
a
though.
lot of
They're
her
not-
people in there.
Yeah,
That's okay. It was a great dinner. It was a great dinner. No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
All right. Did you get in trouble when you went home to Melania last night?
No, I didn't. She was great. She understood. That was probably the moment of the evening. People loved it.
All right. Mr. Trump, have fun on the campaign trail. I know you got a lot more to get to today. Appreciate your time.